that you all set forth that you want for your chief. Looking at in-state and out-of-state, your chief has to be POP certified, which means they comply with the state of Kentucky Department of Criminal Justice training for that background. I talked to them today, and in this meeting, I couldn't begin to explain to you the process of out-of-state. We'd be here the rest of the night, but there's a process for that, and you have to have X number of hours training. Just pick any state you want, Alabama, whatever. If that candidate put in, does their basic academy meet Kentucky Department of Justice guidelines for their basic academy? And I can tell you in the state of Kentucky, we have one of the better training academies in the country. So you got to look at all that. Then from there, there's a committee put together, and what you're looking for there is transparency. The committee should consist of Kentucky League of Cities, some members of the community, and possibly council members. From there, you're going to do an assessment of the candidates by the committee. We'll work with HR and an attorney to ensure the questions and possibly a practical comply with state law as it relates to those things. After that, there's an extensive background check. That is one of the key components to make this successful. We'll do a criminal background, or recommend that a criminal background is done through a company that we utilize called Hire Right. We'll do open records requests on all the personnel files, civil internal affairs, and personnel files of the candidates. We'll check with Department of Criminal Justice Training and Kentucky Law Enforcement Council to ensure the candidates are in good standing, and once again, that out-of-state candidates would meet the criteria that you're looking for. A credit report, Google search, driving record, got to verify the resume. We've all seen the news where there's a number of articles where people put in for high, profile positions, and their resume nowhere near matches what they really did. And then we do another component called references. Even I can find 3 people that probably say something nice about me. One of the captains at the police department laughed at me for that earlier today. I don't know what he meant by that, but I think I can find 3 people. Maybe I can't. So we put together a questionnaire to ensure the references that you're getting what you're looking for. That's not all inclusive, but that kind of gives you a thumbnail of how that works. Then you're going to narrow the candidates to probably 2 to 5, and you're going to conduct an additional interview. After that, there would be a condition of an employment offer. We would recommend that after that you do some kind of medical screening. For when you're hiring a police officer, obviously they have to pass a medical, so you want to ensure you've invested a lot of time in this candidate. You don't want to do it again 6 months later. And then after that, you go to the appointment process, which in your also form of government, obviously, is the mayor makes a recommendation to the council. So that is a quick overview of the process itself. Any questions, thoughts?
As Troy said, that's a real quick overview of the process. I spent a good bit of time with them in previous meetings, and they've gone through this in much more detail. But I wanted them to come and give you the outline of that process so that you all would have a sense of how detailed this is and how thorough it is, but also wanted to give you all the opportunity to ask any questions that you might have of them and how this would potentially work. So the floor is open for any questions that you might have for Troy and Mark.
A job posting is made. About how long does it usually take till hiring is complete?
Here's going to be my answer to you. Don't rush this. Since the first time the mayor has asked us to come down and meet, that's the number one thing that we've said since that day. Don't rush this. It takes as long as it takes to get the right candidate for this job. Now, if you're asking me kind of a rough timeline, I would think 90 to 120 days is reasonable to do all that. Don't lock me into that. If it's 121 days, I'll apologize to you. If it's 84 days, I'll apologize to you. We're going to do the process to find the right candidate is the answer.
Other questions? That's one of the things that we've said from the beginning. This hire is just too critical for us to rush the process or do it improperly. So we want to make sure that we follow the process carefully so that we're sure that we do get the right person for that job. So.
And you have a luxury here that most cities don't have. You've got a great staff that's working really diligently right now, and they're doing a great job. So some cities are not that lucky. So they're doing a great job, and we've got a good group there that's commanding the force. So again, like Troy said, it's doing
process, but if you don't follow it, it's going to fail. So you've got to follow the process.
Joe? Is there a cost associated with this?
That is correct. The only cost that you would have is like the background check. The company that we utilize charges a small fee there. That's obviously going to be a cost to you. Additional hidden costs that I can think of on the open records request that somebody charged you the fees that they're allowed to charge according to the state. You're not going to pay for 9 months' time.
You are paying for us,
Yeah,
you're
you're paying.
paying KLC insurance, and this is part of one of the services we provide as part of your insurance program.
So basically, Joe, those background checks and things we would be doing anyway. So basically, their services are free. It's those other things that we will have some cost.
Make sure everybody on the council, everybody here tonight, Troy went over it, but we don't pick the chief. All we do is help you with the process, facilitate that, give you the right process, and then give you the ability to pick the chief. And it works.
I'll make a prediction to you now. You'll get down to that final pool, and any one of them would be a great police chief for you. It would be the comfort level of what you learned from that.
Troy talked about Taylorville. They got an excellent chief, but actually all the final candidates, all of them were excellent. It was just who matched the city's personality and what did they need exactly for their needs. So we are both very confident you're going to have some outstanding applicants from within the department and from outside, because it's such a good city to live in, and good police department.
We've told the mayor that every time that we've been down there, I believe. Sometimes when you're close to something, you don't realize what you've got. And Mark and I both would like to tell you tonight, Glasgow is a great city and credit to the state of Kentucky, and I hope each of you all realize that.
And not everybody's got that to offer. This is a great place to live, and a great police department. You got great police officers. I've been working this job for 10 years, coming down here, working around them and with them, and you've got some great police officers here. Should be very proud of the police department you have. Very good.
So y'all will be taking us through the whole step each time, each level? Y'all will be leading, giving advice, et cetera? Okay.
A lot of the footwork will be up to the city. For instance, calls and things like that, but we help them with the process as far as what to ask in phone conversations and things like that. So it'll be work for the city to do, but we're there helping with the system, the process that go along the way.
You want to own this. You don't want us to come in and throw a name down on the desk and say, hire.
Are y'all doing an evaluation or anything like that, or this just the process of the police chief?
Of your police department.
Yes.
We met with them today, and just so you understand, the Kentucky League of Cities Insurance Services, Mark and I go throughout the state. All the police departments that we insure, we do what's called a scorecard. We look at like 47, 48 categories. We met with the police department today and took a look at those categories as well.
Once you advertise for a chief, how long do you keep the advertisement open?
I would recommend a minimum of 3 weeks, and let me tell you why. I believe I've shared this with the mayor before we met. A lot of candidates for police chief's jobs know, or there is a perception out there that if a job is posted 14 days or less, they know who they want for the position. So I would recommend that you look at something like that. Plus, maybe you have people out of town or they don't get the information. You want to reach over time for candidates to have the ability to apply, and what kind of packet of information are they going to put together for you? I would assume they're going to put together a good resume, probably a cover letter, maybe work on some references. So you want to give them an opportunity to put together their best product as well.
And they've just said time and again, just don't rush the process. Make sure you give it the time that it deserves. So.
We talked at the conferences and different talks across the country, and in our opinion, it's not just because we're in law enforcement. This is the single most important hiring the city does. It can cost you millions of dollars. It can cost you bad press, headaches. It's just a big issue. Public safety is a huge issue. And law enforcement is one of the biggest ones. So that's why we're really big on taking the process serious. We applaud you all for taking the time to do a process like this, being open and transparent. That's how you get a good pick, and you'll follow the process. Not everybody does it, and I can tell you the ones that do the process the right way, they make a good product, as you can see, it's tailored to a little other examples around the state.
And once again, I know your chief's here tonight, I mean, you don't, we met with him today for 2 hours, I believe. I mean, they're running the police department very well. You don't need to feel rushed that we need to do this.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay.
Something that, real quick, that I guess the mayor and the city, we have to decide, which route we wanted to take, but you mentioned community-oriented policing. Could you just briefly go into a little more detail about that type of policing, just for everybody that's here
You want the
tonight?
definition of it? Is that kind of what you're looking
Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of have an idea, just so everybody
No, I just want
understands.
to make sure I'm answering it correctly. If I don't, let me know and I'll give you more. Community policing is, we've found out through hundreds of years of policing that police can't lock everybody up. They can't do everything in and of themselves. A community-oriented policing concept involves transparency with the community and working with the community. I work for Louisville. I was a commander of Western Louisville, which is the section of Louisville with the highest crime. You can't do everything with 120 officers. You've got to help the community. You have to have a good cooperation, and that's the basis of community policing is the police department and the citizens working together to make your city as good as it can possibly be and as safe as it can. We all know this, corporations, companies, anybody, one of the first things that they look at when they're looking to move into a city is how safe is your city? What's your crime rate? What is, how do people feel about their community? Very, very important concept. Is that good enough? Okay, I can define community order policing till everybody here sit down and cry and want to go home if you want.
It's prioritize community policing strategy.
And there's a lot of, like Troy said, we could go on about community policing all night. There's a lot, you can Google it, there's like pages of it. One of the foundations of it is problem-solving philosophy. So in other words, not going to a run 15 straight times, but going to that run, looking at the root of the problem. Maybe these people need help, social work, maybe they need counseling, maybe they need economic support. What is the basis of the problem that you keep going to this house for? And then you try to solve that problem. And it's teaching officers to take ownership of the area that they're patrolling, not just going to run, but actually taking ownership of it. So again, there's different foundations of community-oriented policing, and those are some of the concepts. But we believe in the concept, we think it works really well. And again, it's all of us working together, not just the police policing.
Well, yeah, it seems successful, that's why I want to expand on it.
Anybody else? Troy and Mark, thank you very much for coming and taking the time to walk us through this. We appreciate that and look forward to continuing the process with you all. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. I have one other item that's not on the agenda, and I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules for the council's consideration of this one item. Do I have a motion? Motion by Councilmember Oliver, second by Councilmember Gross. Thank you. The one additional item is this. I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to KRS 61.810(1B). Excuse me. Motion and second. Let's vote to suspend the rules. We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Very good. Thank you. The additional item, again, is to entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to 61.810(1B) for discussions on the future acquisition or sale of real property. Do I have a motion? Motion by Councilmember Gross.